All right. Hey, peeps. If you don't know who's with us, that's Dusty from Agonal Gasps, formerly of Vision Video, who has muted himself, apparently. Oh, there we go. If you don't know who he is, then I guess you haven't followed us very long. But anyway, he's here with us tonight. So, hi, Dusty.
Howdy. How's it going?
It's going.
Nice.
Happy to be back on the podcast.
On the moon burns.
Yeah.
The moon burns.
Yes.
Ah, that moon burns. Turn it down a notch. Jeez. Gotta come out swinging with the dad jokes.
Yeah.
know?
Yes. Perfect.
Sure.
Perfect.
So, I don't know, just, tell the people a little bit about who you are and what you do, I guess.
Yeah. So I do multiple things. I think first and foremost, I'm a musician. I was formerly in the band Vision Video. That ended last year, and I started a new act. And it's kind of a solo act. I will have a touring band, but it's called Dusty Gannon and the Agonal Gasps, or just Agonal Gasps, because it's a mouthful. A lot of people I guess you would refer to like Nick Cave. It's just Nick Cave or the Bad Seeds.
Yeah.
But I very rarely hear people go, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds is my favorite band.
Yeah.
That's my new act. And outside of that, I do sort of content creation, which I fucking hate that. But I am at a time I was known as Goth Dad, and I still kind of am that, because it's funny, you create a character on the internet and then you sort of become it, whether you like it or not. Like it's just people, like that's what people refer to me as, and I don't, I don't disown that. It's I don't really do much of that anymore, but because I've sort of shifted my social media platform into activism primarily. I mean, I still do some like jokey, hokey stuff, right, and that's just my life. It's not even like sketch comedy anymore. It's just like, here's the dumb shit I do. But my primary focus with content and using my platform is for activism in a variety of ways, but I would say primarily in the realm of anti-war activism through, I'm a part of a group called About Face Veterans Against the War. They started out in the early 2000s as veterans against the Iraq War. They kind of modeled themselves as veterans against the Vietnam War. It was an original organization in the 60s and 70s. They're really fantastic. And with the chaos of this administration and the warmongering and what have you, it has become way more prevalent than I wanted it to be. But that's taken up the majority of my life. But otherwise, I was in the infantry in the Army for like 15 years. Spent 5 years as a paramedic firefighter and avid cat dad, and married to the most beautiful, wonderful woman in the world. And that's my life. All right. See you guys later.
All right. Great. Perfect.
So,
wrapped it up nicely. Perfect little package.
Yeah.
So, what inspired you to call this project Agonal Gasps?
So when I was speaking of the fire department, when I went through, I went to Gwinnett County, which is sort of the metro. It's like, it used to basically just solely be the suburbs of Atlanta, but it's kind of now Atlanta. It's like Atlanta just is this cancerous, metastasizing city that's just getting bigger and bigger. But anyway, I went to Gwinnett County's fire academy. So basically they sent me through EMT, paramedic, and fire 1 and 2, all in one big 18-month course. And when I was, I love being a firefighter. I was good at it, but I was a great paramedic. And when I was going through paramedic school, the term, like, you start learning some medical terminology that's like there's a lot of things that we refer to colloquially, like dying breaths or death rattle. And that's agonal gasps is the medical term for dying breaths. It's basically your body, when you're dying, your brainstem will sort of fire off these signals to your respiratory drive to just get in as much air as possible to try to keep you alive.
Wow.
And that's what we perceive as like death rattle.
Mm.
So it was just like a very stark term, and I always thought, I was like, oh, that's like a crazy term, I've never heard of that. And then having seen that many times, it becomes like something that kind of sticks in your head, for better or for worse. But I don't know, it just felt like there was a time where I was going to actually do Agonal Gasps as a side project, and I was kind of working on this, like very marginally working on this like industrial. It was kind of like up the alley of like 9 Inch Nails. It was like guitar driven industrial music. And that was like kind of almost concurrently with the beginning of Vision Video. And then Vision Video started growing. So it totally went by the wayside, and I just kind of forgot about it over the years. But I still had like like all of the Facebook stuff, and I was like, oh, I have this stuff, and I like that name still. And it just felt appropriate with like Vision Video ending, it was like dying breaths, yeah. So that's where it came from.
I like that.
Yeah.
So you're working on an album, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on a body of songs at this time that I don't know if it'll be like an LP or more of an EP. I mean, eventually all roads lead to an album.
Right.
But like right now, just with the ecosystem of like having to effectively start from, not, I wouldn't say from zero, because the audience is still there, and obviously I'm just like, all right, this is Vision Video, this is Agonal Gasps. But it is a very different act, and it is trying to achieve very different things. Like it's a bizarre thing to have to kind of rework and figure out like where you're wanting to go and like what direction. But now, like just recently, I've really started to kind of go, yeah, this is it. This is like, that like that first song I put out, Hold Fast, was like meant to be a Vision Video song, and you can very much so hear Vision Video in that.
Yeah.
Right. I think the second song that I put out is called Death Knell, and it's a little bit further of a departure. You still kind of hear the Vision Video a little bit. And I don't think that you're ever going to like completely not hear like semblances of Vision Video, because I mean, I wrote all those songs. But it's the direction that I'm heading towards, with this is it's more rooted. Like it gave me a chance to kind of like get away from music for a second, which I think is really good, because, when you're writing music for a band and you've been around for like 7 years, like Vision Video was, and you've done 3 records at that point, you start kind of getting bracketed into like, this is the sound. And whether you do it intentionally or not, like, and I don't think I ever really intentionally did it, you start writing to the sound. It's like your brain just sort of like projects out stuff that like fits in the framework of the band, and that's why you don't write like an acid jazz song, like out of, you know what I mean? Like you're kind of focused on that path that it's presenting itself. So this gave me a chance to kind of go, well, what do you really love about like goth rock, specifically goth music, goth rock, and post-punk music? Like what really pulled you into this world when I was a kid, when I was really young, and I found this and I was like, that's fucking cool. And ultimately I kind of went back to the basics, and I like listened to a lot of stuff that brought me into this genre, and I kind of hyper fixated on that. So a lot of bands like, the staples like Bauhaus and the Sisters of Mercy were big ones, but also the Sound, and like really early like Joy Division, like Warsaw stuff. And I think my favorite time of that umbrella genre is like the nebulous area between the late 70s and the early 80s, where it wasn't goth, it was just whatever, it was just like this new thing that people were doing. And I think a hallmark of a lot of that music is that it's a combination of punk and goth. It's very jagged, and it's very like political. It's very avant-garde. It's risky. It's like, you know, you listen to some Bauhaus records, like the early ones especially, and like it's very experimental at times, and a lot of the songs are like not what people perceive Bauhaus to be, you know, because they think of like, you know, She's in Parties and Bela Lugosi's Dead and all the hits.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I want to make this. I still have like a penchant for like a hook and like really catchy songs, but I was like, what if I could take that hooky catchiness and make it raw and make it like less digestible. So it's like it still pulls you in, and there's something still memorable about it, and it's still something you can maybe dance to or listen to at a goth night or whatever. But it's not like really polished, and it doesn't exactly sound like everything else. Because I think we're in a realm now where like goth kind of exploded again. We're in this sort of like what I would call like the fourth wave of it. You know, you've got late 70s, early 80s in the inception. You've got kind of early 90s like reboot, and then you've got early 2000s reboot, and then now this fourth wave. But the problem is that, and this is the most long-winded answer to your question ever.
No, that's all right. Sure.
The problem is that like social media is really great at helping like connect audiences. I mean, it did for us, and I'm like super grateful for it. But it is a machine that like replicates success. And when bands start getting successful, other bands start going, we do that. Yeah. And then they start doing that, and it just and like that's really contrary to the point of like post-punk and goth music. Right. It's supposed to be a little different. It's supposed to be like you know, your own unique perspective and take. And obviously like musicians inform each other, but I do feel like we're getting to a place where it's like I can't fucking discern half of these bands anymore.
I know, it's like ever since Twin Tribes like exploded, it's like there's like 10 of them now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's I mean, and a lot of it is because like it is also, as far as touring is concerned, like the like two people, like guitarist, keyboard, or guitarist, bassist, and then everything's backtracked. That's really like affordable because you don't have a drum kit, you don't have to have a big vehicle. Right. It's so much easier to tour. You can fly easier, you can do all this stuff. And to that point, like I'll be doing my first tour with Agonal Gasps. It's actually announcing tomorrow officially with all the dates, but it's in Europe in November, opening for the Chameleons. And like we won't have a drummer because I can't afford it right now, which is valid. Like heresy to me, like because I'm a big proponent of like have a drummer, but it's just like the cost of touring is fucking crazy right now. And that's another factor into like to bring it back around, like it's another factor of like how I'm putting out music right now, and my plan forward is like doing an album as a like cogent, cohesive body of work all at once is extremely expensive. Because if you're going to do like a proper record, you've got to go into the studio. That's crazy amounts of money. You're paying the engineer and the producer and all this stuff. And anybody worth their weight in actually paying for it, it's going to be not cheap. And then, you know, you've got to pay for advertising and marketing and all this stuff. So right now, my kind of strategy with this is just focusing. I'm recording it literally right here in this room, my studio room, and I'm just doing it here. And I've learned a lot about production, like just enough to kind of work my way around it and feel good about what I'm putting out. And I'm doing one song, one single at a time. And typically the way I work is like, okay, I've put out a bunch of singles, and then there's all these other songs, and I have a ton of them because like most of them are just kind of ideas, and I'll flesh out the best ones of those, and those will be kind of the B-sides. And then it's like, okay, that's an album. But this time I'm recording everything here, and I'm doing single versions, which is just me producing it. But what I'm planning on doing is when I have the body of work that's a full album, I'm going to then take all the same recordings and everything, and I'm actually going to give it to probably Tom Ashton, who did our first record, 2 records with Vision Video. He's from the March Violets. I'm going to give him all the digital recordings, and he's just going to like master or mix and master it and produce it. So you'll have like a much different version for the album, which will be cool because you'll have like kind of 2 people's like you'll have my like very reductive, like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing take.
Yeah.
And then you'll have and then you'll have one that's like, oh, this guy is a 40-year musician who's amazing and knows very much so what the fuck he's doing. So yeah, I mean, I think ultimately the plan is about 5 or 6 singles throughout this year, and then like probably a record early next year. Like my goal is to have an LP's worth, like something I can actually physically produce around like February or March of 27.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
That was a long answer. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
We don't mind.
No, not at all. And it's funny because we've got a list of questions here. It's like, oh, check.
Yeah, there you go.
Covered some of them. In fact, the next question. Yeah, what do you think, Eric?
Yeah, here we go. This is your question though. Did you want to ask it?
Oh, did we already do 5? Is that one?
No, we didn't. But I thought you came up with that one.
Yeah. Sorry, we didn't do it.
Good.
You can go for it. Like I said, I think Dusty may have covered some stuff though.
Yeah, I think a little bit, but that's okay. So now that Vision Video is in your rearview mirror, what things have you learned from that experience that you'll take going forward into the new band?
That is a good question. I think I learned the biggest thing with Vision Video is I learned not to rush things. Like, for example, the second record, we rushed it. We really rushed it. And there's a lot of like stuff about that record that I would totally do differently.
Okay.
And it's not to say it's a bad record. I'm proud of that body of work as well. But, there's just like every time I listen to that album, which is like not often anymore, but back in the day when I would the way I rehearse is I just put it on in my studio and I just play to the recording. But, there's just a lot of like, if we had more time, and that was because we were pushing ourselves to get that record out faster than was necessary. I think that record would have been a lot better. It would have just been a lot more like structurally sound, and it would have been a tighter record. And I've learned to fucking not trust everybody at their word and write everything down. That's a big one. Like you start a band with your best friends and everything is all cool until it's not, and then like it doesn't matter what the truth is, it matters what lawyers can point at, and it's like bullshit basically. So I learned that really hard, extremely expensive lesson. And I mean, I think the best thing that I learned through the process of Vision Video is like when I started Vision Video, I truly did not know what I was doing. Like I barely knew how to play guitar. I just messed around long enough and would figure out the chords and like try to transcribe the sounds that I was hearing in my head. But there was a lot of times where I was like, I don't know how to even articulate what I'm trying to do. Like it's like trying to use words in a language that you don't know. You're like, I can't, I can hear it in my head, but I can't get it out. And so I learned a lot of like technical stuff, over the last 7 years. And now it's like, I speak that language. So when I started this new thing, with Agonal Gasps, it was like, oh, I want overdriven guitars. I want like really piss and vinegar, like rock and roll big guitars in this thing. I want it to just be like kind of a punch in the face, because a lot of it's very angry and political. And I know how to dial in delay, chorus and overdrive to get those like big nasty 80s guitars, you know, that are, and that's a really specific sound. And back in like 2017, 2018, I was like, I don't know, reverb. You know,
what's that?
Like it was something that I didn't have the knowledge. And now that I'm a much more experienced musician, just then, not only just like technical, but composition, like understanding like how to layer sound and like, you know, I learned a lot, like huge amount when we were in the studio for our last record, Modern Horror, with Ben Allen, because he's a Grammy Award winning producer like that, and he's absolutely crazy how his brain works. And I spent like every bit of that entire record, I was in the studio, you know, watching him mix and like it was just fucking crazy how he layered sound to like fatten up, you know, certain areas of songs and or to give things space, and so I learned a lot through that, and I think it's just made this process of me writing like way easier, but also just generally more enjoyable.
That's good. Yeah, that's nice that, yeah, you don't have to go through that initial frustration anymore. It's nothing like learning a brand new foreign thing. It's just like the whole first year or whatever. It's like, this is so fucking frustrating.
I think like Vision Video, like especially Inked in Red, like I wrote that song or that record in a time where it was all passion, like it was all just emotional energy, and I spent so much time like just writing the songs and getting them to where I was like, this is basically what I'm trying to do. So that, like, to me, that's the best record because it's so like me. It's my, like, here's my fucking heart. Here you go. Yeah. You know, and to that point though, hilariously, like, because I can't really sell more Vision Video shit, like, without risking this dumb legal thing. So what I am going to do, and this is like the first time I've talked about this with anybody, so that's, you get to announce this on your podcast. I'm pulling a Taylor Swift, and I'm going to re-record Inked in Red as a cover album.
Oh, hell yeah.
So like that'll be next year. I'm gonna start working on it like later this year. It might happen real fast, and it might take me fucking forever, but like it will be out next year physically and online and everything. And I'm not going to do it like with singles. Like it's just going to be, here it is. And that'll be called Re-Inked.
I love that.
You know, that's great.
And then you'll be able to buy that if you weren't able to buy that, because a lot of people are like, oh, I really want to buy that first record, and I'm like, sorry. It's all gone. Oh, so so that'll be cool. And I think
so. Are you going to like tweak things, do things like differently, or is it just good?
Yeah. So the keyboards will be non-existent or replaced entirely, which is cool. So I want to make that very clear right up top. The composition of the keyboards will be completely new. And like I think I'm going to be doing it like with a drum machine, just because, like, again, money is a factor, and I don't really have the money to like pay a drummer at the moment to like record a whole album again. You know, so it'll all be me recording it again. But Tom is gonna mix and master it, and, you know, make sure it sounds like within the realm of the first record, but still like very much so a different take on it. There's like songs that I think lend towards being a little bit heavier than they were, you know, like Organized Murder immediately comes to mind. Like that song desperately needs like bigger, just fucking nasty guitar on it. So it will definitely be different. I mean, it's definitely not going to be the same album. It will be a cover album through and through, but I think it'll still appeal to fans of the original, but also like be a totally new experience as well.
Oh, that's so exciting. I love
that'd
that.
be fun.
Super excited about that because no one talks about this song, but one of my favorite songs is always Broken Fingers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's one of the first ones. Like, I wrote In My Side first, and then I think Broken Fingers was like basically the second song ever with Vision Video. So yeah, I love that song.
That's awesome. So you kind of did touch on this a little bit about, touring, some dates coming up. So, and you said you're going to have like a live band. Do you have people in mind, or are you at liberty to say like,
so with this first tour, I was literally going to do it by myself with everything backtracked because it was like, just financial, like going to Europe, like, I mean, the end of Vision Video sort of financially fucking devastated me in essence.
Fair.
Like I am living off of my savings right now. So, and it's fine. I mean, it's ultimately, I'm not like struggling, but it's definitely getting to that point where I'm like, oh shit, I got to be really careful about how I do things. But, that factors into like this first tour. But I always have the guy who came with us on that last East Coast tour, Steven, the Scottish guy.
Yeah.
He basically was like, hey man, I'll play bass for you for free. And I was like, I'm never going to ask you to do that.
Right.
Because
awesome.
like, I mean, I would never do that. But if that's what you want to do, then I'm not going to say no. So, he offered that and that made sense. And, don't tell him, but I'm going to pay him some stuff anyway. But
Good.
ultimately, I mean, it's like, it really kind of boils down to like scalability of financial aspects of touring for now. My goal and my extreme hope and desire is that by the time we start touring in the US next year, so February and onwards, we will have a full, like it'll actually, I won't say a full band. My goal is to have a live drummer and then me playing guitar and bass and synth backtracked.
Okay.
To start out with, because I'm just such a big proponent of like live drums just add an energy to a show that you just cannot replicate. And it's kind of a pain in the ass touring because you got to load in the kit and it's just, it's a lot. You have to have the bigger vehicle and everything. But I mean, at the end of the day, the live show is the most fun part. And it should be like your best aspect of being a band. Like when people see you live, they should be like, that was fucking amazing.
Right.
And I don't feel like we get to fully express that without a drummer, even with this new stuff. I mean, especially with this new stuff. So, but it really just depends on like how quickly I can kind of rebuild and repair the standing of this new band, because it just takes a lot of time and money. And it's like, even though it's kind of crazy because like you spend like I still have this social media following, but you have to sort of go, hey everybody, look over here, look over here, look over here. And every single time I post something about like Vision Video ending, people are like, wait, what? Vision Video's not a band anymore? I'm like, and I get it because you don't see stuff every day. And if it's not a band that you're like crazy, like like super into, you may not know. Like I'm sure bands that I'm a fan of have broken up in the past like 2 or 3 years that I just like didn't know.
Sure.
So so it's just a lot of like try and I don't want to be like obnoxious about it. It's like I don't want to like just constantly pander and market to people because I just hate that. So
I know.
But assuming like in the perfect world, I have a song that comes out in the next 6 months and it just blows up. And then, I can suddenly afford a bass player and a drummer. And then, I'm probably just always going to backtrack synth because I've got touchy feelings about synth players now.
Valid.
Which is unfortunate, but yeah,
it's all good. Yeah.
Right. I get it. And it's funny, like, not everybody gets to go to a live, because I saw you at Murder of Crows end of last year, and with the new bass player, I believe, and
Steven.
Yeah, he was there, and he sounded great, and you definitely, I believe, you made a big announcement there, and I was like, oh, so like that was first I heard about it, and Eric actually just ran into somebody,
I was just at a major later, but we can do it now too. That works.
I mean, without calling anybody out, at a big
I was at Dark Force Fest, and I had someone come up to me and was like, "Oh, I like your Vision video tattoo. I'm good friends with Dusty," and I'm like, "Oh." Hi, I'm an acquaintance, friendish thing of Dusty.
You're a friend, of course.
But then I was, she's like, "It's a shame Vision video ended. Did not happen." And I'm like, "Not 100%, but I know way more than I let her know. But that's beside the point." And she was like, "Yeah, it's such a shame Dusty's not making music anymore." And I'm like, "Huh?" And I'm like, he's got a new band, the Agonal Gasps. And she's like, I haven't heard anything about that. So I'm like, okay, either A, you're just a poser trying to get some clout, or B, you literally had no idea, but you're actually Dusty's friend.
I mean, I haven't. I've been kind of quietly rolling a lot of this stuff out, and I was in therapy today, and we had a long talk, like we do many of my therapy sessions. I go every week because my brain is fried, and but this week my therapist is amazing. She was actually in her like really successful touring band before she went into social work and therapy.
That's cool.
And and so she like totally gets like what my life is like when I talk to her about this stuff. And she was kind of like, like it's good to, like, for me, a therapist is great to have, not just to like talk about stuff and to kind of work through things, but like she's good at stopping and being like, look, here's what you've been through, and here's what I see, and here's like it's like a third party perspective that is unbiased and as possible, and they are able to kind of give you like framework for your progress or your lack thereof, or like how they perceive like the extent, like the totality of who you are and what you've been through. And she said something to me today that was like really, stuck out, and it was like, you spent months and months just trying to get back up and to find that energy and that wherewithal to like do this again. She's like, and honestly, you did it very quickly. You started creating stuff quickly, but she's like, I noticed that basically your like ability to kind of get back out there and do this stuff, it wasn't as like thorough, in so many words. But and she's 100% right. It was like, it really fucking sucks when you spend 7 years doing like something that is like absolutely intrinsic to yourself, and then to have somebody that was involved in that process, very much so, but ultimately like somebody stabbed you in the back like hardcore, because they didn't like the fact that they agreed to things and then basically then turned around and said, no, I never agreed to that. And because we didn't write anything down, even I have a mountain of evidence to support it, but it's not like in writing, like to the letter of what we all agreed to. So, to kind of bounce back from betrayal, I think is just very difficult, but especially when betrayal leads to you being sort of robbed of something that is so deeply personal and intrinsic. Cause I mean, there's no two ways about it. I wrote all of those songs,
right?
Like completely. And, it's like, it just feels like the first few months of post Vision video was like fucking Atreyu stuck in the mud, it's like Or what was the name? Artax.
Oh, like, yeah. The horse,
not to bring up any millennial like angst or anything, but like it felt
that's how we all feel right
like
now.
just sinking into this mire, and you're like, I can get out, but it's just, but you're like, once you're out of it, you're just exhausted. And I felt smoked, like utterly smoked, like up until very recently. And within that, I think my biggest level of disdain for putting more energy out in regards to that was like social media. It's like, because it's just so like, it's just such a slog, and you have to, like, when you really want
it's
to,
like you got to constantly feed it. You got to feed it every day, consistently. It's like, if you are a week went by.
If you're, I mean, and I'm like actively engaged with it regularly anyway. But if you're really, if you're trying to grow things, you have to be posting like 3 times a day.
Yeah,
and it has to be like meaningful. It can't just be like post. It has to be stuff that's actual content. And that all takes energy and time. And I'm like, now I'm also at a point where I'm like, I'm not doing this the same way. Like, I have no interest in just being like, oh, hi there, baby, that's got that. Here's the record. Like, that's so like reductive to me. And also I see all of these musicians doing like horrifyingly cringy stuff. And again, no judgment. I did it.
Right.
But it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm turned 40 this year or whatever. But I'm just like, dude, I can't do that again. Like, I figured I would have less shame as I got older, and apparently I've gained some back. But
standards.
Yeah. Well, I think it like the issue is that, like, with me looking back and creating music that kind of harkens back to the stuff that like made it raw and jagged and strange and unusual and just like imperfect, like the whole like, is this the goth song of the summer? Like that, just it's like it's totally in conflagration to the fucking point of it. So my marketing slant now is changing, and I think I've kind of figured it out, and I'm really just gonna let the songs like speak for themselves. I'm not gonna do all this pandering bullshit. It's just going to be like maybe a video of me playing along to the song or just like lyrics or whatever. And if that does well, cool. If it doesn't, whatever. Like, I don't need to be the Cure. I don't need to be like the biggest fucking band in the world, because I know like as long as I'm making stuff that I like and that I think says something, because I have experience and knowledge that I know is relevant to this fucked up world. As long as I'm doing that, then that's a success. And hopefully I like pay my bills and like don't have to like DoorDash. I'm about to probably have to start door dashing. So if I show up at your door and I'm like, here's your burger, then
you live local.
No hate to door dashers.
No,
of course not.
No. Jeez, I know it's such a shame, and it sucks when you do see like it social media game. It's just like, what happened to just like being mysterious? You know what I mean? Like, just
right. Well, and I think that's a big aspect of what's like kind of disinterested me in the online goth world. Like, and again, I have culpability in that process. Like, creating Goth Dad made it reductive and funny because it was a joke, but it's like, it does pull away and it sort of commodifies, and it's like, now I just want people to go out to the thing. Fuck all the online bullshit. Like, there can be discourse about like standards and like the ethics and like the coda of the goth scene, but like nobody gives a shit about your outfit. Just go to the thing.
Exactly.
Like, stop posting like, and that's mean, but like, I like, because there's a bunch of really cool people doing makeup and outfits and stuff, but like, don't make that your entire personality.
That should not be.
Going to the thing is way more important than like posting online, and that's where I'm trying to like commit my energy, is like, I've got to market this to you, but come to the show, because that's
Yeah.
way more important than any of this.
Right. You don't have to look. You don't have to have any fucking makeup on. You don't have, just slap on a band shirt, pair of jeans, boots, not
Good to
even
go.
whatever, sneakers. Just go. Just get out,
Yeah.
talk to fucking people.
Yeah,
You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Because it's the goth scene. When I looking back at things, when I found this stuff, and I was a teenager living out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Georgia, and then when I moved to the big city of Athens, Georgia, and met some friends that would actually take me to the actual big city of Atlanta, where there was a real goth scene. There wasn't like social media didn't exist at all back then, and it was unbelievably affirming to be like in company of people that liked the same things, that had the same ideas about the world and ideas about like rejecting norms and standards of like regular fucking civilized society. I was so appreciative that existed, and that was all that mattered. And I think now the kids that are finding it, like, I'm really grateful for social media, because like a lot of kids are finding it and they needed to find it through that vehicle.
Right. I mean, it's good that that's the hook. You know what I mean? And maybe the makeup and the style is the hook.
Yeah. But I think,
okay.
I think the problem though is the departure point where you sort of build your entire identity within the subculture and the scene online versus at things. Like at shows, at goth nights, at meet and greets, or like, meetups, or whatever, like that stuff. Like if we're like to make a strata, like a numerical strata of your goth points, the people with the most goth points are the jeans and t-shirt wearers that go to every fucking thing and post nothing.
Yeah.
Versus the person that is like sincerely just chasing clout constantly. Because I think also, I mean, you're seeing it now. Like I don't even know their names, but I know who I'm talking about. These videos of these girls, and they're like hypersexualized, and they're all like doe-eyed and stupid acting. And there's like the one girl who's just like, every other joke is like, I want to fuck you. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I don't know their names,
and it's just like the most generic goth. Like, I
wonder if they're real. Sometimes I look at them like, are you AI? Like,
I think they're real people. But I mean, it's crazy that you question it. It's like, yeah, because I had the same reaction. The first, I was like, is this a real fucking person? And again, before anybody like crucifies me on the internet, it's okay to be sexual. It's okay to be like quirky, and like, I mean, look at fucking Elvira. Like every single joke she made was,
to be fair, that's her thing.
But there was also like nuance, and it wasn't literally every single goddamn thing. And anyway, I just think that when all you do is sort of take this fetishized version of goth, and that is your entire personality or persona online, like, you are part of the problem. You can be sexual and sexy and mysterious and cool, but you don't have like that. It doesn't have to be every single last little thing. Because and I hate to say it, but like, women and femme presenting people are fetishized hardcore. So you are kind of playing into that, like, that male gaze that like puts you into a objectified box, and I fucking hate that, because I know so many gorgeous like goth people that are physically beautiful, but they're way more interesting than they are beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, they're more fascinating because they talk about their love of the music or philosophy or whatever.
Whatever it is.
That's, I don't know. It's so reductive, and I fucking hate that.
Yeah. It flattens people. It makes everybody a 2D like cartoon,
Yes.
version of, and somebody, an outsider, a normie, you would be like, oh, that's a goth girl. It's like this
exactly
hypersexualized, extreme makeup.
Yeah, and if you go into the comment sections of those videos of those the couple girls that are like, they're all over everything right now. Like there's millions and millions of views because of these girls. Yeah. And it's all literally all dudes just being like, oh, she's so hot. Oh, that's the kind of girl I wish I
need to get
had.
a goth girlfriend for myself. Yeah.
It's like, you want to, this is my advice to dudes out there. You want to get a goth girlfriend? Treat her fucking like a human being. Treat her with respect. Learn about the things that she's interested in, and be actively interested in those things, or at least like ask, like treat people like human beings, and they will appreciate it.
Yeah.
Wow, what a concept!
What a concept! This is another human being with a whole ass brain and interests, and Anyway, wow, this is a great.
I'm all riled up now.
No, yeah. We should probably.
Scarlett, my wife and I talk about we've had some long conversations about, and we've sort of been like hate watching those videos,
no,
and that's
doing that to yourself.
I know I really shouldn't, but I gotta be honest. So,
but I get it.
I'll stop. I can stop anytime.
Yeah. It's so funny, because like forever ago, I was watching It's Black Friday, and it's just like she has the look, but like she does not. I mean, she talks about very interesting things. She like the whole thing is like, she models her makeup off of Elvira,
right?
And she definitely plays up to her her assets, I'll just say. But she's fascinating,
but it's never the focus, though.
That's not the focus. That's not the focus.
And again, even if you do bring attention to like sexualized things, it's okay if it's done like for like, how do I explain? Like, for example, like the song, I mean, and some people say, oh, it's not a goth song. I don't really care. Like Closer by 9 Inch Nails. That is a very hypersexual song.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, there's nuance to it, and it is an exploration.
It's also intelligent.
There's an exploration into intelligent, nuanced facets of sexuality. It's not just, hey, look at my dick. I'm gonna fuck you. Like that's like nobody wants that. I mean, I don't know. I guess I would want that if it was Trent Reznor. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, maybe some people do, but no, that wouldn't be enough for most people. I think. Yeah. There's got to be more substance there.
But notice all these things that we've been talking about. There's a recurring theme to this, and that's it's reductiveness and loss of nuance and loss of texture. And that's what happens when culture is commodified. I mean, this is like literally stuff I learned about in college in sociology. Like when you extract elements of what's perceived as like alternative, dangerous, like sexy, cool, whatever, like you extract those elements and you make it into a product to be sold. It denigrates the entirety of the actual thing. And then the people that are participating in the actual thing constantly have to sort of guard and gatekeep even harder to maintain integrity of the thing. And that's like, gatekeeping insofar as being like, oh, you don't know who Bauhaus is? That shit's lame. But gatekeeping and being like, here's what it is. That's not lame at all. Like, because we have to do that. We have to maintain a semblance of what it is and what it isn't. And there will be a million fights in between, but it at least keeps the core structure of that going. But that gets whittled down every single time one of these videos goes viral of like the ditzy, like stupid bimbo goth girl just being like an object. And I fucking hate that, and it's stupid, and it makes me like so sad for people like my wife, like women and femme presenting people in the scene all the time have to suffer the consequences of that shit. Just walking around, like going down the fucking street, I can't imagine.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can speak to that. Luckily, this is why I dress kind of like I've always been like a tomboy, and it's kind of like a protective thing. The rare occurrence where I put on a dress and I wear some makeup, it's just like, oh, it's a different experience.
Yeah.
It can be nice sometimes, but sometimes it can be like, this is creepy.
Yeah. See, I'm kind of the opposite. I dress like really like slutty as a like, but like vaguely femme gothy, with like fishnets and like flowy,
and heavy makeup and everything.
And then when I get like accosted by some weird dude on the streets, I'm like, hey, what the fuck? And then they're like, oh shit. Which I have done a couple times in Athens, and it's always funny.
Oh, that's awesome! Shit,
it's not often because like I'm like 5'11" and 205 pounds, and I'm a pretty like wide set dude. So like, but every now and then, because my hair's long now, so somebody will like yell at me from behind, from like down the street. I'll be like, "What about it, motherfucker?" And they're just like, "Okay."
I love that. Yeah, I gotta start lifting. That's my thing.
Yeah.
I'm only 5'1". Yeah.
You can do it. You can do it. Just start hitting it hard. Lift heavy, lift often. You'll be good.
Oh man, yeah. Words to live by. I love that. Oh man. Well, we had some other questions, but you touched on all of that stuff. So I want to know, what was it like getting arrested?
Yes. So for those of you that don't know, I was involved in the aforementioned About Face action in DC last month. We had a multi-coalition group involved in that act of civil disobedience. 66 of us were arrested. It was kind of exactly what I thought it was going to be. There was a lot of anxiety because I've never been arrested. So somehow I should have been arrested about 10 different times in my life, but narrowly evaded capture a couple times. May or may not have run from the police in New York at another thing. We went in knowing, like, my cohort was the group that was like, we are going to get arrested. There were
that's the goal.
Groups, like people that were like outside. And this all happened in the Cannon building, in the rotunda of the Cannon building, which is like, for those of you who don't know, in the DC Capitol Hill area, it is there's a ton of congressional representatives' offices in that building. It's where like a lot of them are. I knew 100% we're going to get arrested. So that there's anxiety before you go into it, but because you don't really know like how long I'm going to be there, like what they're going to do. Are they going to like violently like beat the shit out of us, or like, and we kind of figured they weren't, because we had like our military like camo tops from our different branches of service and stuff.
And it seemed like it was being well documented too,
I mean, we had cameras. There was somebody from Reuters, there was somebody from Associated Press and Getty Images. So like, that was all coordinated in advance. And like, I mean, like, I would say half the Capitol Police were like totally not excited to arrest us. They were like, obviously, like, I have to arrest you now. Like the guy, like if you watch the video where I'm getting arrested, the cop like taps me on the shoulder. He's like, hey man, like, all right, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to have to arrest you now. You just, put your hands behind your back, or I'm going to put you in the zip cuffs, and then I'm going to lead you out of the building. Okay. Everything good? And I was like, yep, no problem. Very, very like, I dare say, like, kind of a little bit of kindness in his affect. Very like clear and direct, but
respectful, maybe.
Right. Yeah. It's like he and I could just tell in his demeanor. And they took me and this other guy to, like, we had to go down to this elevator to go down to the first floor and out the doors. And like, it was funny. Like, I was singing this, there's this like old paratrooper song. When I first joined the Army, I was a paratrooper for a few years. And there's this old song from World War II. It's called Blood Upon the Risers. And it's a cheery song about a paratrooper whose parachute didn't open and he dies on impact. And the chorus is gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. Gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. So I started belting that, like, as he's pulling, because we're all like chanting and shit.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm going to be as loud as possible because they're pulling me down the hallway where like a lot of the Republican congressional reps were, and they were all coming out in the hall. I was so loud because I can really sing diaphragmatically. And we got to the elevator and it like opened up and I was like, all right, I'm going to stop because I'm not going to like subject you to that in the elevator.
No.
And he kind of laughed. And so they got us in there and they took us out and, and we kind of waited outside and they lined us up in like groups of 10 to like process us, like take our picture and like, like they put these little like colored bands around our wrists that put us in like groups. And it was all just like organizational stuff. And and then the other half of the cops that were very excited to be arresting us became very apparent.
Really?
One Marine that was standing next to me in my little lineup, he's like kind of just pacing back and forth, and we're all zip cuffs like behind our backs. Like, I mean, it was so tight. It was like I couldn't fucking move. Wow. I actually have a little bit of nerve damage. I can't feel this area.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Great.
I'm hoping it'll come back one day.
Jeez, I hope so.
I mean, it doesn't affect anything. It just kind of feels like nothing. I don't know, it's weird. But anyway, so we're all zip cuffed up and this Marine is like pacing and he's like chanting and they're like, you all need to stop chanting. You need to stop demonstrating or else you're going to catch additional charges. And we're like, what fucking charges? Like, it's our First Amendment right. Like, you can't tell us to stop. So everybody basically did stop though. Cause we're all like, all right, like, let's just like de-escalate a little bit. And he's a Marine. He's like, no, fuck that shit. And he's just like kind of pacing like in a 2 or 3 step pacing area. And he's just going. And then out of nowhere, this cop shoved him into the ground. Like as he zip cuffed and he hit his back on a weird like cement like block on it's just like brutalist architecture. And just like, bam. And he was fine, but it was like, yep, you can see the ones that are enjoying this. So you can see the MAGA chuds. And later I found out is that a lot of Capitol Hill police are washouts from Secret Service, like people that didn't make the cut.
Okay.
They get put to Capitol Hill, just regular police beat. And so those people are all bitter. But they're all like right now, you've got to be a total chud, like fucking cult member to be part of that. So anyway, they processed us. They took us in buses to this like mass detention facility for, that kind of thing. Cause like people do demonstrations in the Capitol Hill very regularly, like for a variety of reasons. Yeah. Especially with this administration though.
Right.
Sure.
So, I mean, and one like little vignette of this that I thought was funny is like, while I'm standing up, with that group before we got on the buses, the captain of that precinct or whatever, and the sergeant of arms, like the leading sergeant of the police were talking. And I was like really close to them. They're kind of talking in hushed tones to not let everybody hear. And the captain's like, did you guys not see this coming like at all? And the sergeant at arms like, not even slightly. And he's like, damn, that's crazy. And he looked at me and I'm a former captain, I have like my captain's bars.
Okay.
And it's the same in the police, I guess. They have the 2 bars. And he saw my rank and the captain came up to me. He's like, how did you guys do this? And I was like, I'm not telling you anything, sir, right. But what I will tell you is that it was extremely well organized and extremely well executed because we're military, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll give you that. And they kind of chuckled and walked off. So, I mean, there was some levity to it, but ultimately like a lot of the veterans got their cuffs taken from the back to the front. And it was like totally subjective to the police officer. And I kept asking them like, hey, can you, like, I hurt my shoulder in Afghanistan jumping out of a truck, like trying not to get shot in the back. And I, like, it's not a big deal, but it was like, I've been like this for like hours and hours and hours. So my shoulder's starting to kind of smart a little bit. And I was like, hey, can you just please move it like everybody else? And two of them, I asked three people. Two of them were like, "Oh, you're about to move, so I can't do it yet." And I was like, "I got it, cool."
All right, fine.
But
yeah.
one of them was just like, "No," and I'm like, "Okay, cool, thanks."
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, we sat in this just like hot ass detention, like it was just like a garage basically.
Mm-hmm.
And they made us sign a admission of guilt, and I think the charge was like obstructing an exit, and I was like, I didn't obstruct shit, man.
Yeah, right.
So, but they had to give us something, and
Right.
so and that's like an easy. Oh, that cat's beautiful. Look at that.
Oh, thank you.
But
Ripley says hello.
Ripley, I have a Ripley too.
That's great. Get in here.
Ripley cats, yeah.
All right.
But anyway, they made us sign this admission of guilt, and it was like a $50 cat. Like we all had $50 cash, because that group About Face did an action last year in June during, like, if you remember, Trump had his like military birthday parade.
Oh yeah,
they did an action then too, and about 50 people got arrested. So it was a lot of the same people. So we were all kind of figuring it was going to be the same type of charge. And they were like, you can not sign this and come back in 2 weeks at court and face possible further detention and fines or whatever. So literally everybody's like, here's our $50, and
yeah.
And then we were free, and then and that was that's all there was to it. But like ultimately, one thing that it like proved to me is that the mainstream media, both right and left leaning, but mainstream media just totally ignored it in the US. And that's because there's a lot of people like liberal centrists that are very much so in support of this war, because they are in support of like Zionism, and they want this war to happen. They have business interests that they want it to happen.
Right. I mean, I hate for better for worse. I mean, say what you will about social media, but like I only saw it on Instagram. You know what I mean? Like, and I follow a lot of accounts that were very much, not just your account, what I mean? Other protesters' accounts, and that was it. That was all I saw.
And the one like really cool thing though, like to toot my own horn, was that I was on Al Jazeera, which I fucking love. Like, I love that I was on like the leading like Middle Eastern like Islamic news source, and I just felt like that was a good like slap in the face of U.S. imperialism. It's like, look, Ma, I'm on Al Jazeera. Like, this is so fucking cool.
That's incredible.
And it's crazy to me because like
hit the big time.
I remember when I joined the army, being just like I wasn't even that political back in 2007. I just wanted to like get out of like poverty. I was a high school dropout working in a fucking car parts factory. I just wanted to go do something that would elevate me, give me some discipline, and challenge myself. And that was the naivety of my youth. But I remember like back in 2007 being like, Al Jazeera, that's like the terrorist news. Like, it was just because I was a dumbass fucking kid. And
you
like,
didn't know better.
It's wild what 20 years will do to you.
Yeah, I know. That's so crazy.
But I mean, I'm really proud of everybody. We did a really good job. It was flawlessly executed. And we're just getting started. Awesome. So, like, this war is by no means anywhere near over in all probability. And, I think what that action really did is it opened the doors to a lot of veterans from different walks of political leanings going, oh, I want in on that. I want to be part of that. So we have a ton of new people coming into not just About Face, but all these organizations, and people are wanting to get interested and they're active on, participating on whatever they can do to speak out and use, because, as veterans, we have a unique antidote against the propaganda of the bullshit and lies of not just this administration, but the military industrial complex and militarism and imperialism, because we have seen it, and we go, no, this is the reality. This is the terrible, fucking awful reality of it. And like, none of us should be accepting this.
Yeah.
So I'm proud to use that. Cause I look back, to my younger years of being in the military with a lot of shame now. And it's, I'm still proud of like volunteering to do something in service.
Yeah.
But I have an obligation, knowing what I know now, having been through what I've been through, to use my accolade and experience against the system that creates these problems, because it's absolutely unnecessary. We spend, they want $1.5 trillion for this fucking next year's fiscal year's military budget. And they have the audacity to tell us that they can't pay for, healthcare and education and childcare. That's a fucking lie. It's just a lie.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we would be much better off if we just, got rid of all these foreign military bases and stopped fucking around in all these countries and meddling. Because what it all really boils down to is businesses use the military, corporate entities use the military to bully the rest of the world into subjugation economically, so that they can extract trillions of dollars of wealth from the third world and the global south. And that's just it's extortion of the world, and of Americans.
Yeah, right. Also our own citizens.
So it's I think it's the most important thing that I have ever done in my life, turning against these systems and trying to like bring awareness that we don't need to do it this way. We can have a good military and protect this actual country, like without having to have this massive standing army. We're the only country in the world that has 800 military bases that are not within the country.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
It's fucking stupid. So
yeah.
Anyway, I will talk to you about that all night long.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, let's switch gears a little bit here. Do you agree that Bub is the world's greatest photographer of the goths?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, only Bub could worm his way into the Cure's, retinue and end up with the live album cover shot in like 2 years time. So I love Bub. Bub is a wonderful human being, and he's
we love Bub.
Great friend, and I feel like every time I go somewhere, like when I fly out somewhere to go do a DJ set or perform, whatever, at some point in the night I'll hear, "Hey, what the fuck, man? Hey!"
There
and it's Bub, and it's like, there's Bub. I hear him coming before I see him.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I say that with love, Bub.
Oh
yeah.
Shout out to Bub. Go follow him at Chris Cardi Photography.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
All right. So here's a fun question we've been asking everybody. Describe the most interesting venue bathroom you've ever visited, and interpret that however you want.
Most interesting bathroom. I don't know that I have any like specific interesting bathroom stories.
Okay.
Let me think about this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I feel like they all just sort of blend into one like amorphous, heavily stickered, heavily graffitied like blob of like mediocrity. There's very rarely like a bathroom you go into and you're like, yes, amazing.
Right.
Like I have gotten so good at doing makeup in like very poorly lit, like terrible bathrooms with like no mirrors.
I was just gonna, or they're covered in stickers because yeah.
So like, doing makeup on tour every night, I shave every night before I do my makeup, and that is like the most frustrating fucking thing in the goddamn world when you're playing at like, mid-size or DIY or mid-size venues, because it's like, God damn, you show up and you're like, it's going to be a shattered mirror, or there's just going to be a mirror with like this much actual mirror because the rest is just band stickers.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but you get good at it. I'm almost like thinking of like the best bathrooms, and I'm trying to think of like my favorite venue bathroom. It might be, well, I'll tell you my favorite like venue bathroom because it's in my favorite venue green room, which is at the Saturn in Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay.
And they have an entire, like, that place is run and owned by musicians, and they've built it to be like the dream venue to play at. Sound system's amazing. Everybody's great there. But above it, above the main stage, there is there's an Airbnb that they run, and you can rent it as the band for like $100. So it's like the cheapest thing in town.
Oh, nice.
And it's awesome. There's like tons of bedroom. There's like two main bedrooms, and there's like a bunch of bunks in one of the walls, and you can bed like 17 people. It's awesome. Wow. And there's a pool table, and there's like a big TV and a bunch of like DVDs of like shitty 80s like action and horror movies. And
perfect.
There's a there's a whole kitchen, and there's a record player, and blah blah blah. And it's just it's like when you're on tour and you're just playing like places that have like the worst green rooms ever, and then you show up, and like especially Alabama, you're like, you know, and you just get to this place and you're like, fuck yeah. And the bathrooms are super nice, and it's just like, oh god, it's just that is nice. It reminds you of home for just a moment. You're like, oh, wonderful. That's nice. Yeah. Every other bathroom of every other venue. Like when I was a kid, you know, I actually got to go to CBGB when I was 18, but there wasn't a band playing, and I wasn't able to really even be in there like or do anything because like my friends and I were too young to drink, so it was just sort of like, let's just stand here for a minute. This is cool. And you know, there's the whole like thing about like the toilet with no door, and it's like on the and like I, you know, that's like funny when you're 18, but when you're in your late 30s and you have to take a mean shit on tour and there's no door. Like I've been to venues where you're like, come on, dude, like this isn't fucking funny. And like I gotta take a shit, and there's no door, and I turn into Bub and I start screaming. Like, hey, what the fuck? Where's the fucking door? So,
oh my god!
So put a door on your shitters, please.
Yeah. God forbid. Yeah, I started doing green room interviews, and you really start to realize, just like, man, what the fuck? Bands had to deal with.
Yeah, it's so hit or miss, and like sometimes you'll go into the most unassuming like the most like punk rock looking venue, and then they'll be like, oh, let's take you to the green room, and you're like, all right, I'm about to sit on a rotten couch from the like late 80s, and it's gonna be like a busted mirror and like a leaky faucet, and then you go into the green room and it's like luxury, welcome, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, is this real? I mean, that's not often. That is usually not often. The former, not the latter. But
I will say, yes, I have one of those experiences in the green room. It's actually somebody's apartment. You know what I mean? And it's a nice apartment, and it's big, and you know what I mean.
One of my favorite green rooms is X-Ray Cafe in Milwaukee. It's very much so like an apartment. They have some like cool arcade cabinets and stuff, because that place is like it's called X-Ray Arcade, or X-Ray Arcade, not cafe. X-Ray Arcade is fucking rad. Great little punk venue. But it's like, it's got all the trimmings, everything you need, and you know, it's just like, oh, it's so nice. Like sometimes when you're like deep into a tour and you're like you know, 2-3 weeks into a month or longer tour, and you're in a green room like that, you're like, man, I don't want to fucking do this. You're like, I just want to sit on this couch all night, okay? Like, and then you get out there and you're like, hell yeah, let's do it.
It's like, all right. But it is nice to just like sit probably and veg.
You do a lot of like staring at the wall.
Just need to veg out for a little bit. All right. So we got like a couple more. I know over an hour here.
It's all good. I talk too much, and that's why.
No, definitely not. You're talking about playing gigs coming up, but do you have any DJ gigs at all planned?
Well, I'm DJing here in Athens. We just did Goth Prom, which is an annual, thing that we do every year now. But Dan and I are doing our first 80s prom at the 40 watt. And that's just, it's like genre non-specific. It's just anything in the 80s. And because there's a lot of like random stuff that's, like I like to play like weird deep cut 80s stuff that like you just don't hear regularly. And some of it's post-punk and goth, but a lot of it's like new wave and hip-hop and just stuff that doesn't get the regular spins.
I love it when people like throwing some Devo in there,
absolutely. Yeah. Some krautrock, some weird stuff, just to make it a little more interesting. But that's coming up on June 6th. DJ gigs, I don't really think I mean, we have our regular goth night here in Athens. I do have one coming up in June, I think June 20th in Middle Georgia in Warner Robins. We're going to be, Dan and I are going down with Tears for the Dying is playing there. And we'll be DJing after they play. So like a nice little goth night package of a really great band and Dan and I doing our thing. Nice. But no, I mean, I'm kind of just taking the requests as I get them. And it's been cool because like I've been getting a lot more requests. I think people just kind of know since I'm in sort of a touring hiatus until the end of the year. They're like, okay, well, like, maybe he'd want to do this. Yeah. I'm DJing Dragon Con. I'll also be playing Dragon Con with Agonal Gasps. So,
cool.
I mean, I'm very grateful that they took me back with the new band because I applied like I always apply, and I was like, hey, it's not called this anymore.
It's a new project.
And to that point, when I do play with Agonal Gasps for the first at least year or two, I'm going to play a good bit of Vision Video songs too. So, I mean, you're going to hear it. They're going to be a little different. Maybe they'll be the re-inked version of things.
Maybe the harder, more aggressive.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like, especially in that last year of touring, we were playing shit way harder, like more aggressive than we were in the beginning anyway. So, I've kind of like, I really want to get to a place where I am doing like fly-ins or drive-ins to different places to DJ, because it's just so much easier than touring. It helps like pay the bills a little bit. And it's like, I love touring and playing live as a musician because it feels like you're always kind of at the razor's edge of like losing control of things. Like, like the way my brain works when I'm playing live, like I'm like locked in, because if I like kind of zone out for even a split second, it like, I forget fucking words, or I don't know where I am in the song, and it can just turn it. And that can just, it feels like tumultuous sometimes, but I like that.
Okay.
But I also really like going in and just like having like total, like mindless fun and just being like, goth night, let's do this. Boom. Here we go. And just like sharing my love of all these different songs within the genre and the subculture. And like Dan and I, like especially when I DJ with Dan, we go nuts. Like we go crazy. Like a lot of DJs are very like push the button, play the song, kind of dance a bit. Like you will find me climbing up the walls and like doing crazy shit. So
I've seen some video.
It's because it's like I think DJs, like the best DJs in the world are not the ones that like mix things perfectly and like beat match every single song. And it's just this like perfect fluid thing. The best DJs are the arbiters of the party. You've got to get people to go subconsciously or consciously go, that guy's fucking crazy. Nobody cares what I'm doing. Look at that fucking dude. But it's like you're giving permission to like let go of all the bullshit and all the social media. And I think like, kids now, and not to get like too philosophical about it, but like younger people, especially, I notice, and just through talking to them too, they're way more concerned about being perceived because every fucking thing is filmed. And when you're in your late teens or early 20s, like you are afraid of perception. I was terrified of like what people thought of me back then. Yeah. Now I don't give a fuck. Like I just could not be bothered to give a fuck. So, when you have a DJ, and I say this from total experience, like when you DJ in a way that is evocative and you're like being the arbiter of the party and bringing the energy and like getting people into that, it is so much better. And people immediately start to go, oh, I can do this. I can be who I want to be. I can dance, relax, and I can just like relax and have a good time. And so there's a purity that's very different in the music realm. It's not as much creative, but it's like you're creating a vibe, as the kids would say. Like you're making this environment for them to have fun in, and that's its own form of like creative energy. So anyway, that's all just to say like I would like to start doing parties. So like I'll give you like a little vignette here to kind of illustrate what I want to do with this. Earlier this year, I fucked up and I got asked to do this DJ thing in Atlanta, and I thought it was just like a local like promoter or something. And it's like entirely my fault. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like I'll do it. Like whatever. It's just like a one-off. And it ended up being like this really hyper corporate, like there are these corporate entity, and they're all from like California, and they do these like roving parties.
Oh yeah.
This one was called like Crime Wave or something stupid. And I was like,
I've heard of that one.
And I just didn't like pay attention.
You didn't realize. You didn't know. Yeah.
Until I like had the contract, and I was like, fuck, all right, whatever. Like
shit.
Cool. Okay. This sucks. But I'm just, whatever.
Yeah.
Oops on me. Like
no, yeah, it's no big deal. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. It wasn't a bad event, but it wasn't good either. And like, I mean, we did it the best we could, and they weren't like, you can't play this or that or whatever. It was that, but they made us put on this like stupid video, like on a projector, and it was just like, what the fuck is this? This is so like, hey, goth stuff? Here's goth stuff. You know The Crow? Yeah. Like shit like that, it's like whatever, dude. This is but it gave me the idea, like, because I talked to the people, to some degree, and then I started looking into it after the fact, and I was like, oh, these are like some bros in LA or whatever, and they're like, they don't give a fuck about the goth scene.
No.
And I was like, what if I just go to different places and then it's not fucking $25 or whatever it is. It's like $10 or $15 in the more expensive cities. And then it's accessible, and then it's like, we're not like, I don't even want to know how much money they made off that thing, because we made $500. Like, that was split between Dan and I, and it. So I want to, like, I have this kind of fledgling, early inception idea of like doing not necessarily a traveling party, but just like flying into cities, and like working with the DJs that are already there to like build a really cool spectacle of an event without like paying a corporate fucking overlord,
right?
Just being a guest DJ around different cities. That
exactly,
which is what DJs do.
So I'm probably going to do a lot more of that as the year goes on, because it's like, I think as I've been doing it, more people have seen it, and then I just get these random emails, and they're like, "Hey, would you want to come DJ this?" I'm like, "Yeah,
nice,
good."
I mean, that would be awesome. I mean, you probably wouldn't have time or the energy in a touring schedule, but like you squeezed in some in between. I don't know.
I think I'm gonna try to do some of that. Where it makes sense. I am actually a big fan of like, especially Friday, Saturdays, like just doing a after party at the venue.
But I like that.
A lot of it just depends on like policies of the venue, and like they want to, like, obviously venues make most of their money off of booze at the bar, but like, they also have to like pay people hourly, and it's like, well, how are we going to know if like X amount of people are going to stay, or
Yeah.
then you charge door after. There's like
Right.
weird things you have to figure out, but like I'm open to it, and
Mm-hmm.
I've actually tried to do that in the past, but
Mm-hmm.
it just like didn't happen. But
Yeah. Depends.
I think like doing it on weekends on the tour makes sense, because like usually you have like Sunday or Monday off.
Yeah.
So you can like actually recuperate from like
Right.
doing a show, then DJing for like 2 hours, or whatever.
Sure.
So.
However long. Yeah. No, I think that's a good idea. I'm in support of you coming down to Philly. Just because that would be a lot of fun. There's so many clubs.
I may be there this July.
Okay. Oh, okay. Interesting. Please do keep us in the loop.
I'll figure out if it makes sense. Actually, let me. Now that you mentioned this, I need to. Like,
okay. Well, this is on the record, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah, exactly. When am I getting? Sorry, now I'm like in the middle of this.
Let me check my calendar.
Second. Oh, I'll be there on a weekend. Yeah.
Nice. Oh shit! I hope it's a weekend that I don't have anything else happening. There's so much happening.
So I will be there from the 2nd through the 6th.
Oh. So like right around July 4th in Philadelphia?
Yeah, something like that.
Interesting.
Not to be too mysterious about it, but yeah.
Okay.
So
well, that's a good time to be in that city.
If you know any local DJs or whatever, link me up.
I know them, but like, it's just like, hey, you should do this thing, like,
Yeah. You know what? This is this has inspired me. I'm gonna put out the like APB and just be like, hey, Philly, I'll be here between these dates. Let's try to make something happen.
Let's do it. Yeah. Oh, I would be ecstatic. That would be amazing.
Hopefully I won't be in jail at any point.
Yeah.
Please don't get arrested again.
Yeah.
On purpose or otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
I know when you got arrested and someone put in the Discord you've been arrested, and they'd been like 4 hours, we hadn't gotten an update. I was panicking. It was like, no.
I mean, we kind of knew it was going to be a while. I was the only thing I kind of fucked up on, and I learned a serious lesson of like, if you're going to get arrested, don't fly out the next day. Cause I was like, oh shit. I was like, I didn't think about this. And I was like,
whoops.
But we got out the same evening. So
very lucky.
Yeah.
Miss your flight. My God. So since we're almost at an hour and a half now, feel like maybe we should land this plane. So just closing, message for the viewers. I mean, this can be, I think you've already dropped a lot of good, lot of wisdom already, but maybe something closing.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we are entering what is going to be a very, very crazy summer and a crazy fall in this country. But also the world. I think
it's not just us.
Yeah. I think that what has been going on is, it's going to start affecting us economically, very much so.
Sure.
Everything's about to get more expensive. Everything, it's going to get hotter. People are going to be riled up as the election lead up happens. I think this government is going to be doing some fucked up, nefarious shit to us.
Right.
And that's really scary, because as individuals, like, I feel it all the time, especially when I'm directly and actively like going to things like actions and protests and stuff, where it feels like insurmountable and it feels like so dangerous and like hopeless even. But I guess I would want to remind everybody that like you are the safest when you have real community ties, when you know your neighbors' names, you know what their needs are. You have friends that are real friends that will like ride or die with you. Like, so start fostering those connections with people, because I promise you, like, history is the great teacher. The people that come out of the most horrific times, the best are the people that have real community ties. And that requires sacrifice. That is a two-way street. You know, you take care of people, they take care of you.
Yeah.
And despite all that, despite the fear and the anxiety and maybe the awful things that may come ahead, may or may not, you know, don't lose your sense of levity and like your ability to find joy in life, because like the fight for better days has to be laden with goodness and reminders of like what those better days could look like. So just don't give up, because it's like we had a, you know, I wasn't really close with him, but we had a really like prolific guy from especially the early 2000s to the aughts. He took his own life yesterday. And he was like, he's from Athens, and he kind of moved away, and you know, and he like did all this advocacy for mental health, and he was like just a really wonderful person. And you know, and it reminded me, it's like, this may happen a lot more if we remind ourselves like to talk, communicate, build community, work with each other, reach out. You know, asking for help is the biggest, like the most difficult thing you can ever do, to really genuinely ask for help from somebody. But again, all this like boils down to like community and just like working together. And that's how we get out of this. It's like, you're not going to vote your way out of this shitstorm. You're not going to like, you know, you can't stockpile your way through economic hardship. Like, you have to rely on people and work together. So, and things will, and like all bad things end, and we'll get through this one way or the other.
Right. That's a good message. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. And last thing, since people seem to not even know about the Agonal Gasps, plug all your socials. Where can people find you?
Yeah. So, I mean, generally, like a lot of my social media has shifted towards just like me and my life, and like, you know, goth dad or stuff or whatever. I guess I am just that now, but that's all like, it's goth dad, and that's across the board. You know, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, blah, 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 blah. I have a couple accounts of, you know, Agonal Gasps, and that's just like specifically to the music. So Facebook and Instagram in particular. I think I have a TikTok, but I haven't done anything with it because fuck TikTok. But I mean, fuck all these social media accounts. But you know, I have the website agonalgasps.com. I have a smattering of some merch stuff. I've got my cheesecake calendar, my cat calendar, and a few eyeshadow palettes left. But soon, actually this week, I'll be doing some pre-order at a discount for like shirts from my friend.
That was actually good.
My friend Britta's designed some stuff that's really cool. And then Ryan Dunn, who did the logo and does all the like album art and stuff. He, you know, I've got some stuff from him, and so I'm just gonna do like, I kind of want to like stick to pre-orders for the time being, because again, with everything being so expensive and not having this like massive stock to hold, it's like, all right, you can buy this now, and there will be a window of when you can buy it for cheaper, and then we'll have a little bit of extra stock, and then like when that's all gone, we'll open another pre-order window down the road. And it's like, that way we're just, you know, I've just got to keep the margins like really tight.
Sure.
But yeah, that's a lot of that is honestly, all that money is effectively going to be going to supporting the touring upcoming.
Yeah.
Cause like I've already purchased flights and stuff, and I'm like, fuck. Like,
gotta pay for these.
Crazy. Yeah.
And I just want to say shout out to the when you did, you know, the mass liquidation of all of the stuff, and the shirt that Eric is wearing, even you know, I picked up, you know, some shirts and everything. I got your eyeshadow palette, best, most vibrant colors, best red of
Yeah.
any
Oh, yeah.
eyeshadow palette
Yeah.
I've ever used,
The
because
red,
it's hard to find a good red to just make your eyes look like
Yeah.
you know.
I literally use it myself. Here it
Yes,
is. You know,
I'm like, what? Yeah, I know. It's like I use all of those colors.
yeah, it's I designed all those with Johanna Moresco, you know, from the crew Shadows. She's a really wonderful friend of mine. She's been a major supporter and friend, and she's done so much for my career just out of like mutual appreciation and respect and love for each other. She's an awesome person. I cannot say enough good things about Johanna. But I mean, you know, the reason why I agreed to do like this palette and the first one that I did with her was because like I've gotten a couple of her palettes before we even had the idea to do a collaborative thing, and they're just so good.
Yeah,
you know,
so
and
pigmented. You know.
yeah, and so I'm probably gonna do another one with her maybe later in the year.
Yeah.
You know, because we're almost out of these, which you know, because like the good
pick
thing
them
is,
up now, guys. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, they go quick because I also don't like to charge people like $1 billion for these things because it's just so lame. But the whole idea with it is to create like I told her I was like, I will only do this if it's something that I will use. And to date, I have not bought a single eyeshadow palette in 3.5 years because I like kept a bunch of these for myself, and I'm like, cool. I'm good on that at least. So, yeah. So check out Johanna Moresco Cosmetics and her social media and all. She's amazing. She's a vampire. She's cool.
Nice. Yeah. With you. Oh, thank you. No, that's there was a lot to think about. And a lot to look forward to. That's for sure. Yeah.
It's again tumultuous times.
I know.
But good shit is ahead. And we just gotta like really focus on the things that matter and disregard the shit that doesn't.
Right. Yeah. At least we're not living. At least things aren't boring. So
yeah,
that's good.
Exactly. Yeah, at least the music's coming out of this time will be good, I guess.
Yes.
It's always the running joke of hardship.
Right. Yeah. The silver lining is music is amazing right now. Yeah. Everybody's writing the best of everything. So no complaints, at least with that. Anyway, thank you again, Dusty.
Hell yeah. Thank you all both for having me always. And we'll do this again anytime.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
I will hit the end button.
I'm Mr. Agitator of V is for Villains, and you are watching Moonburns Productions.